Coming up on this week's episode of the HCA Tech Talk podcast.
Yes, we're creating a cinema for you, but we're also creating a tranquil room. We actually find with a lot of our clients that they like the spaces we create because it's another room. It's a room on a Sunday morning. You can sit with a cup of coffee and read a newspaper, or a newspaper on your iPad if you don't have physical media anymore.
It's also escape from reality, I think,
Yeah.
as well. So any room that we design using the technology, it is escape from reality, but it also, as soon as you go in there, you feel a bit more relaxed.
I think it is something to sort of like sit in and appreciate these spaces. Yeah, they're there for big screen movies. Yeah, they're there for Netflix, and they're there for YouTube, and they're there for sports. But they're also just nice, tranquil places that you could just sit and spend time with your family.
You're old romantic, you, Stuart.
I know, as the ex-girlfriend. But that film was one of my favourite films ever because it was so decisive.
Thinking of building your dream home cinema? Don't know where to start? Start with the HCA. At the Home Cinema Alliance, we connect homeowners with the very best in the business. Our members are trusted designers, installers, and technology experts who know how to turn any room into a breathtaking cinematic experience. Whether you're building from scratch or converting a spare room, our members are here to help you every step of the way. Visit our website to find your local member at homecinemaalliance.co.uk.
Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the HCA Tech Talk podcast. I'm your host, Stuart Burgess, and today my co-host, as always, is Simon Gregory.
Good morning, Stuart.
Good morning, Simon. Thank you for coming along to another podcast in Essex.
Yes, another podcast in Essex. Where are we this week then, Stuart?
So we're at Pulse Cinemas this week.
We are indeed.
Yeah,
beautiful showroom, and very lucky to be able to use their facilities.
So about 25 minutes from you, this one?
About half an hour. So
We actually are running out of places now.
We are.
Actually,
I normally
we're
come here
not.
to take flight at Stansted Airport. So when we do ISE in Barcelona, I normally come here and just head off quite easily for us.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely showroom. I'm sitting down with Capes a little bit later and having a conversation because Capes has sort of been here from the beginning. So just wanted to touch on one thing before we get on. Obviously, here in the UK at the moment, we're just getting into school season, or school holiday season, I should say.
Yep, holiday season,
and
6 weeks.
And as I've mentioned many a time before, Simon is never around when the kids are off. So you might sort of like where we've been trying to do one with me and Simon every 2 weeks. You might find through July. This is January then.
21st of July.
So yeah, we're sort of like, so we're in July now, August. We're going to still put a podcast up every 2 weeks. We've got podcasts in the can from people like CEDIA Distribution. We've got Procella in the can. We've got AWE.
Acoustic.
We've got Acoustic.
Yep.
So we've
plenty
got
out there.
We've got plenty of content to go out there, but we've got this one we're recording with us now. And then I think we've got one in about a month's time with us again. So there will hopefully be a podcast up every 2 weeks. I am still sticking with the rod in my back. I was editing the one that's going out live tomorrow as we record this all weekend with Mel and Jamie for CAVD. So that was really cool. So if you've watched that one, it was a great podcast. If you haven't, go back and watch it. So yeah, getting on to today's podcast. So what have you been up to? What have you been working on, Simon?
So we've been doing the barn conversion, so we're doing first fix on the cabling. It was a very hot couple of days because most of it was outside, but so we're doing the swimming pool area. So we had to drill, I think it's 44 holes in the joist to get all the cable from the comms area to the locations where we wanted, because we've got cameras going in there, access points, outdoor speakers from Stealth Acoustics. So yeah, it was a long 3 days of hot sweat and a few tears. But
yeah, didn't you put a post on the group at one point saying it sucks to be near a swimming pool when there's no water in it?
Yeah, the swimming pool's not ready yet, so it would have been lovely to jump in, but it was full of a lot of rubbish and debris and everything like that. But no, it all went well, and we're well on our way.
All the cabling in then, because I know Simon, who works with me, was giving you a hand.
Yeah, so Simon's gave us a hand. So
as you were eating your lunch.
He was helping as I was eating my lunch. he was helping do some of the other joists as well and running the cables. So I think you always need 2 people to help do pulling through of cables. I said run 3 cables, he said run 4. So we are fully covered for most things. And we actually run cables for other areas that the client wasn't too sure whether they're going to use.
Yeah.
Because the most expensive cable to put in is the cable you don't put in. So we run some cable to the gym area, because I'm not sure we're going to have anything in there. But again, speaker cable, cat cable, we put that in there as well.
I think, yeah, you touched on that. You're completely right, because it's like, why run 1 when you can run 2, and why run 2 when you can run 4? Exactly. Considering that if you're doing like a Cat 6, if you're going to terminate in a wall, you're going to get a 2 or 4 gang play anyway, potentially.
Yeah, and if you change your mind at a later date and you haven't run the cable, then you are stuck. There's obviously ways of doing it, but you're going to add more cost and more complications to a new build is always stressful anyway, because there's so much going on. You want to move in. There's always teething issues, whether it's plumbing, electrical work, and things like that. So if we can make everything a lot more simpler and easy for the client, then we're in and out and we're done. So
well, I think you're correct in respects of it always makes me laugh of all the years I've been doing the exhibitions. You know, you have builders and architects will turn around to clients and go, how do you want your lighting to work? How do you want... Clients probably never lived in this site before, let alone in this house.
No, not at all. And it's quite a stressful environment. And,
lots of decisions.
This particular client is doing the whole project management side of things. So I'm on the WhatsApp group for everything. So I see everything that's going on. And I'm glad that I'm not a part of that on a daily basis. So we've done our first fix.
It's good though,
we're ready to go. Middle of August, I think we're ready to go. Second fix.
Okay.
So the cinema, the pool should be done shortly after that. So the cinema has all been completely wired as well for a nice Atmos 5.2.4 system. So
I've got to say, actually, being on a few WhatsApp groups for builds is quite useful, because I think we did a job back in Cranley probably 7 years ago. Actually, fairness, I'm still doing it because the client just gets me in every now and again to do a bit more. And I remember there, you know, we were almost like the orchestra, the conductor of the orchestra, because, and I suppose with WhatsApp, what's quite good now is you see a conversation between the HVAC and the electrician and the client, and you can go, well, you know, we've got a system called Callmaster that we could probably integrate with that, so we could control all those elements, you know, via our control system. Where before it was like, if you weren't in that meeting on site between those trades, the only time you would have got to it was when you were
on site and saw it, and then by then it's too late. So we did actually get some really nice feedback from the foreman. We drilled all the joists and did all the holes and everything. He's like, oh, you could have just tacked it along that because we're going to cover all that. He said, but at least you've done the belts and braces and you're not going to get involved in anything. They said, you guys are leading by example. So we try. Nobody really pays much attention, but we do try. So electrical cables are all over the place and piping here and there for underfloor heating. But we try and lead, and any Home Cinema Alliance member should lead by example.
So are you doing, obviously we touched on sort of summer, and obviously we're in the summer now, although not by the weather today on the way up here.
It's a bit wet.
I've had 4 seasons in one day driving up here, so literally everything but snow. So I'm waiting to go outside and find the car covered in snow when we finish recording this. So are you putting garden audio in there? Yep,
so we're doing a little bit of garden audio as well. So we did a nice little garden audio system a couple of weeks ago, and that was around a pool area. So again, that was using, they had Sonos in the house, so you had Sonos outside with the Bijou amp to give it some more power. But yeah, that sounded really good. So this job, we're just working on the barn. They're going to have the Stealth Acoustics. Because it's a barn conversion, Heritage England have got involved, so we need to have it fairly in keeping with what the barn looks like from the outside. So they've got like a black wooden plinths going all the way across. So what we're trying to do is, if we can get something that matches that to a similar standard, which you can get the different covers on the Stealth, so you can get brick, you can get grass, you name it, you can generally get it to match the decor of the outside of the building that you're working on. So looking forward to doing those, because we saw them at IC in Barcelona, didn't we? We went down there and had a good chat with the guys. So
along with their massive patio TV,
the very big patio TV,
where we finally got to see some
sunlight. I was so happy to get some sunlight.
You got your glasses on, literally.
It was in February, wasn't it? It was a bit cold back home, so it was nice to see that. So yeah, the Stealth guys do some really good stuff, and the HCA members can get those from AWE. So
I think touching on like garden audio, I mean, we did a home builder renovating show in Sandown recently as immersive, and where the plot I was, I thought, oh, I could cheekily sneak a little bit of extra land here for the exhibition stand. So just had my banner up. Simon had gone on holiday. You had gone on holiday. My brother had gone on holiday. I think my mum and dad were on holiday. So it's like, I'm not building the full-on stand on my own. So I just took the pop-up. But a few years ago, I got a couple of B&Q planters, stacked them on top of each other, a bit of artificial grass, and put some Origin acoustics. So buried subwoofer, and then 4 spikes. So ones that go in the ground, in between your foliage. We've just done a video for Dagesh at Nucleus, and he used those at the Wow House.
Oh, right, yeah,
and they're brilliant, you know, and actually the response I got from people was like, you know, first of all, was this you? And I'm like, yeah. And it was like...
People didn't believe it was you, Stuart. I like
and
that.
it was, well, because it was sort of like the other side of the post. And they were like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, so, first of all, are they wireless? No, they're wired. But as I said, it could be simple, like a Sonos or, you know, a whim or Blue Sound or an amplifier that you just connect. All you've just got to think about is running like you would do a ring main. You would just run a radius of cable from the house out, and then I always run it back in. And then you could then hide them in your foliage. But the sound from them was phenomenal, even like haphazardly buried in a bit of wood with a bit of artificial lawn.
And that's the great thing. I mean, they've said, obviously, the weather now is the new norm, really. It's, I think, a heat wave in this country has to be 3 consecutive days of temperature between 23 and 25, which in my opinion is not particularly warm. If it was 30, then I would say, okay, that is a heat wave. So I think you're going to get better weather out here. It's going to be obviously hotter, and having garden audio, even TVs. So like, obviously it's the summer of sport at the moment. So you've got the cricket on, you've got the women's Euros going on as well. You've got loads of sport, tennis, golf, everything going on. But you have a TV outside in your garden, and that really adds to the entertainment area of a garden as well.
Yeah, because there's loads of brands. I mean, Samsung Terrace TV comes to mind. You've got a couple of other companies out there like TV.
Aquavision do a really good one nowadays.
You've got companies like, I think it's still around, TV Shield, where you can just put a normal TV in
we've done a few of those.
Lockable frame.
Keep it nice and safe, and cool as well. They've got the fans in there. So there's a few options you can do, either dedicated outdoor TV, or, as you say, the Shield where you can put in a normal TV and it kind of protects it in its own environment. So that's well worth it.
And also, just a big shout out, I haven't even told you this, but we've got a new HCA member come on board.
Fantastic.
And the new HCA member have actually got a stunning garden setup. So big welcome to Potter's Digital Home down near me in Tenston.
Excellent.
So they came on board just recently. And they've got a stunning outdoor garden where they've used a screen behind a Future Automation sort of split frame, outdoor audio and things like that. And I think, you know, speaking to Alex and the team at the CEDIA Tech Forum a few weeks ago, he said the growth in outdoor entertainment, not just audio, is massive. And I think the good thing about outdoor entertainment, especially with the speakers where you're isolated or they're around you, is that they're not going to annoy the neighbours. They're not blurty audio like a couple of speakers on the back of your house. You can have them at a lower volume, but within the zone you're in. And then you can actually zone your garden up into multiple zones with multiple systems. So someone in the tennis court could be listening to someone different in the barbecue area, or you could just have a party zone, but not beep your neighbours off.
No, I think that makes a big difference. Obviously, we used to have the outdoor speakers on the back of the house. Yeah. And if you were down the bottom of the garden, you generally have to turn the volume up, which obviously starts annoying the neighbours. So having more of a direct sound from sort of the sat sub kind of system, I think works really well. Also, Origin Acoustic have just bought out, well, not just bought out, they've been doing it for a few times, but I think they've modified them slightly, the bollards.
Yeah, we saw those recently,
which are really good. So we quoted a client for those the other day. The Tudor building we've just finished off. So they're just doing the garden as we speak. So we were there this week, just helping out with the CCTV and getting that through the 8x8 matrix from Bluestream, and there's a lot of concrete going down outside. So I kind of mentioned that they need to get some speaker cable down before they put any more cement down. So hopefully that's going to happen as well.
Get the cable in or get the ducts in, get some tubing in, just some piping,
anything,
just something
please.
We can run it through. Please, just do it. So yeah, I mean, I've been busy doing a lot of media stuff recently. We're just about to start a cinema tomorrow as we record. So ironically, the van that I brought with me to carry the camera equipment is also full of our friend Roddy at Cinema Build Systems framing. So he's space frame.
How many suites did you get this time?
I just got one pack.
Oh, Roddy.
Yeah, although Kevin, bless him, did take my note to heart in respect. I went, could you actually just tell me where the suites are? Because the last time they sent me like 40 boxes of acoustic foam, I didn't go through 40 boxes trying to find the suites. Actually, I don't even think I found the suites yet.
That does take the fun away though, Stuart. It's anytime you get suites from any suppliers, it's always fun. 1AV and Jess always give superb suites, so shout out to 1AV.
But Kevin did actually put a little box which had some screws in for the space frame, and he wrote on the front of it, "Suites."
Sweets.
Because I did say to Roddy, what he needs to do is stick a label, a document closed label on whatever box it's in. Because the last time I had a delivery off them of something, it was about 8 months later, or maybe even over a year later, I came to this box of foam, let's say, found the sweets. Of course, they're out of date. I still ate them, because can round trees go out of date?
No.
It's only the chocolate you've got to be wary
Yeah,
of.
if it turns white, you've got to be a bit careful.
So yeah, been doing that. I've been with our friend Degesh at Nucleus. He did the Wow House this year.
Yeah, looks amazing. That very good. Very impressed.
Stunning. So I'm just literally doing a video for him now. I think we're on version 2, so that will go up soon. So check out Nucleus AV's website for that. Also HCA Media, YouTube, I'll probably put it on as well. But yeah, it was 22 rooms, I think. 22 rooms of the most decadent interior design you've ever seen. Degesh worked with an interior designer, Alex Dealey, I think it was. Apologies if I got that wrong. But he worked with her on this sort of like date night room, which was just stunning. It
does look beautiful, I have to say. I've seen some of the footage, but
hidden
really
speakers, a TV was sort of sunk away. They even had a bar with a future automation lift that came up over. The room next door, they did the office where they put a B&O TV and a B&O speakers. They did the outdoor garden with, I think it was Paradigm speakers, because actually it was Pulse who were at today, helped them quite a lot with the equipment there. That was like a garden outdoor indoors. They did a really, really cool thing, which I just so want to do at someone's house, which is they took some 85-inch commercial Sony monitors, turned them on their sides, and then they used a little little sort of like nook. And then what this unified little nook allows you to put content on it. So what they did was they put the trellis work around the TV, and then it was sort of like a window to the outside world. They used pictures of gardens that they'd done for the client on the TVs that Degesh put up for them.
Clever.
But that was stunning.
Clever,
But that was really cool. And like the wallpaper in the room next door, I mean, we use CAD to design our cinemas.
Yeah.
This company uses CAD to design their wallpaper.
Wow.
So they did this opulent room, and they CAD drew the wallpaper, I think in Texas. Then they hand painted it to the size of the drawings or the CAD, and then they came and put it up in London. And then, it was there for the whole month of June. And that, I would hate to think, whatever per metre wallpaper is now ripped up and put in the skip.
Probably a lot of money. Wallpaper, some of our clients have had the most expensive wallpaper I've ever seen, but it looks really good when you have a proper, really decent wallpaper up.
But I mean, it will be again next year. Wow, 2026. Chelsea Design Centre in Chelsea Harbour. Absolutely stunning. I mean, a different world. Sometimes we get to see this little world.
Do you have to book this, or do you just can go and visit? How does it work?
I think it's you buy tickets. So if you go a little bit like to an exhibition, go, because I think Degesh was saying they had about 600 people a day go in.
Right.
They must limit it, because it's not, you're sort of like, this is a really bad way of putting it, but IKEA.
I knew you were going to say that. I was about to say it, but I didn't want to.
I've got every interior.
Follow the path.
I've got every interior designer in the country going, you can't compare the warehouse to IKEA.
Swearing at you on the podcast.
You're basically following the path, and then you probably come out the back, and then that's it. So I would imagine they might limit it to slots. But if you've got any interest in interior design, finishings, furnishes, fabrics, obviously technology, I know me and Dagesh have had a conversation about potentially some of the more of the members getting involved next year, because it was just some of the stuff this year. If we'd had a centralized Lutron system, for instance, in the whole of the Wow House, it would have been so much easier for people to turn the lights on and off. You know, like on Sundays when the photographers were coming, like we were there on a Sunday, there were some rooms we went into just to take some photographs for the people that were there, because I had all the camera equipment with me, but we couldn't turn the lights on because we couldn't find them. Yeah. Plus also, if you didn't think about putting audio in the room, then the guys gave you a little Bluetooth speaker, but it would be awesome to partner up with someone like Paradigm or Origin Acoustics and actually do multi-room audio throughout the whole house. So you have a consistent audio playing throughout the whole house, or you've just got some nice atmospherics as you walk through.
Yeah, and that's what you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you mentioned Lutron. We've just working on a project with a client that we had previously doing RA2, which they've got a bigger house. We're going to go RA3 now. So the guys at Pulse are going to help us with that. But we were one of the first to do RA2 many years ago at this client's house, and they liked it so much they want the new version of that. So we suggested RA3. And
so explain RA3 to what people.
So RA2 is like an intelligent dimming lighting control system. RA3 just allows you to do a lot more. So you've got Homeworks, which is the granddaddy of them all, generally for bigger houses. You can control blinds, RGB more predominantly, but RA3 allows you to do that as well, but much more cost effective.
And obviously, I think if I'm right in thinking, Homeworks is more centralised, where a RAW system you can retrofit.
Yeah,
it's a bit like Rayco, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Rayco, so obviously Rayco is another option, but because the client already had the Lutron RA2, they wanted the RA3, so they've gone with that. So we're at the stage now where we're speaking with the electrician, where if the cable is run correctly, then we can obviously have that as a central location. If not, then it can be retrofitted, and we have the dimming modules going up where the lights are going to go. But awesome. It's all going to do the blinds and the RGB as well. But I thought I'd mention that as we're at the Pulse showroom.
Definitely. And the other thing I've been up to really was I was over in Wales. Had a nice 3 days in Wales, I think it was. Nikki and Andy at Moss Technical. They were opening a stunning little sort of showroom, which had like HD Anywhere or HDA in there. It had obviously Nico, because they're the UK supplier for Nico, distributor for Nico. It had Sonos in there, so Stephen was over there. It just was like a great scenario of a really well thought out room. It had Roddy's fabrics in there. They'd put like an Amina a visible speaker. Yep. I think it was sort of, can't remember what it was exactly, but let's say 5.1.2. But also for anybody listening to this podcast who is either a consumer or a trade in Wales, because obviously we're lucky. I'm in Sussex, you're in Essex. We've got a plethora of people that we can go and see, we could train, we could take clients to, if not our own places, where there's not a huge amount of distributors, if not, I don't think many showrooms in Wales.
No, not at all.
So Nikki and Andy have created a great little space there where you can go and learn how to use Nico. I've got to say, before I was like, Nico, but actually spending a few days doing some media for them, recording Andy talking about the Nico products. It's actually quite a cool little system.
They've just been announced as a headline sponsor for the Essential Install.
Saw that. Mr. Kitchener is over in Belgium at the moment, I think, with them. But yeah, they're sponsoring the Smart Home Awards in September. But yeah, it was for a lot of the sides of it. They had a little thing called a digital black or something like that, which was like a little thermostatic control. But what's quite cool was that it had 4 little squares. You could pick up music, audio, TV. But as I was trying to get Andy to use it with me, he whipped out his phone and went, "Actually, no, we want to see this." So he was changing what was on the screen there and then on a phone.
Two-way.
Yeah, so he was like, "No, let's make it look like this, let's make it look like that." So from a BMS side of it, with a bit of control as well, and it also integrates quite nicely into Control 4, because Andy had a Core 3, I think. So that was quite cool. And they actually did some really nice sort of faceplates. So, you know, whether it was an HDMI faceplate or a power faceplate or Cat 6 faceplate, they just looked a little bit nicer than the normal sort of stuff that you might find in houses.
Look forward to seeing those at the show.
Yeah, no, it was really good. So very quickly, what have you been watching? Have you watched anything recently? Have you watched anything in your cinema? Obviously,
So I recently watched Thunderbolts with the new Avengers. I think they decided to call it at the last minute, or were going to always call it that. I'm not too sure, but yeah. So that's I got Florence Pugh in there, who's a phenomenal actor. So that was a good, heartwarming kind of story about family.
And is it Marvel?
So it is Marvel, yeah.
Right.
So it's based in the Marvel universe. So obviously the Avengers have disappeared and gone off and done other things, and they're a sort of group of misfits who nobody really likes. They're more criminals than superheroes.
Right.
And what is quite poignant about it is it's all about mental health as well. So they're all on their own. They're kind of being told to go and do these things, and because they've got some superpowers or some kind of powers, they just go and do it. But at the end of the day, they're just on their own and feel a bit isolated. So it's about joining up together as a team and just better mental health and family and things like that. So it's quite a good little story, and it's at the end they get introduced as the new Avengers. So it was a nice little film. But and Department Q on Netflix, I've watched that, which is like an old school sort of detective program that you used to have in the 80s. Early 90s, and that was really good as a short episode, but made you want to keep coming back for more. But yourself?
I've actually watched something.
Well done.
I got to admit, I've had a couple of weeks at home working from my home office doing the media stuff more, because I've had quite a lot of jobs up where, you know, as I've said to you before, trying to capture people's creations, their projects, to show their end client. Because I think we're brilliant at talking about ourselves to ourselves, but we create these stunning rooms, but we're not always thinking about capturing them when they're at their best out to their client. So what I've actually been doing is, because I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock these days, I've been sitting down and watching something in the morning. So a series called The Night Agent came back to Netflix, which was quite good. The first series was a night agent was this guy who sat in the room and answered a phone call from an operative who was in trouble.
Is that with Stephen Graham? Is that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm terrible at actors' names, but that was quite good. He's got out of his room now and he's actually become a proper spy. I watched The Cleaner.
Oh, right, yes.
Mainly because it had Daisy Ridley in it. But
I can't see any past Star Wars, that's the problem. And,
see, that was just a weird... I mean, it was one of those films where I was watching it thinking, I'm just going to stop. But I carried on watching it. So think about Die Hard, but John McClane was a guy that cleaned windows on the building.
With Daisy in it.
Yeah, and that was Daisy.
Did she get a lightsaber out at the end?
No, she did not get a lightsaber out. But it was okay. And then the one I finally got round to watching...
That's not a metaphor, by the way.
No, the one I finally got round to watching, which Owen, our friend Owen Maddox, has been on for ages about, is The Gentleman, which was absolutely brilliant. Have you seen it? Oh, it's a phenomenal film. So it's a like a British gangster film, but it's just got everybody in it. So you've got Matthew McConaughey's in it. You've got Colin Farrell's in it. You've got I can't remember his name now. One of the lead guys out of Sons of Anarchy. He was in it. I think you got Hugh Grant in it.
Not Ron Perlman.
No, the son.
The son, yeah.
Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
But just the characters they play. I mean, like Colin Farrell plays an Irish coach of a boxing club, and then Bugsy Malone, the rapper, is in like the group that do these things with him, but he doesn't realise they're doing it. It is just brilliant, and then that's actually span off into a Netflix. So it's I can't remember the director's name now.
Guy Ritchie.
Yes, Guy Ritchie. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, and actually it's got Guy Ritchie's pub in it, which we went to recently with 1AV and KEF, because that was in central London. But they've just spun that off into a Netflix documentary. Different people, but I reached out to Owen and said, "What's it like?" And he said, "It's really good. It's just different people, but similar sort of story." But really, I mean, don't watch it in front of the kids.
No.
But
it is
just very, very, very funny. So I would watch that, but no, I'm watching quite a bit at the moment. So it's I'm sort of trying to catch up with a few bits of his. Last of Us season 2.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, I did like that.
That's why I think a lot of the showrunners and everybody else have left, to be honest. So I think number 3 is going to follow more the girl who's part of the army and stuff. So,
I really hope so, because it started off really good.
It did.
I never played the games, but I know what happened. And then I just felt the other 6 or 7 episodes were just getting from A to B with not much in the middle.
No, it faded off into the distance, didn't it? But when the attack on the village happened, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. And they almost do what they did with Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones used to do a really big episode, and then nothing happened the next one. Oh, but you knew the next one after that was going to be pretty epic. And that's what I was expecting from The Last of Us, but nothing really materialised.
No, I enjoyed it, but I couldn't wait to get that one over with. So, right, okay.
Thank you to HDA for sponsoring the new section of the HDA Tech Talk podcast with their new U-Control remote.
Let's jump into the news, but before we jump into the news, if you're liking the podcast, please like and subscribe. It means a lot and it helps get more people discover. If you're looking for a home cinema to be designed and built, please reach out to our HCA members at homecinemaalliance.co.uk. But we'll jump straight into the news. So first up with you is the new Sony Projector.
Yep, so I did a webinar probably a couple of weeks now ago that telling us more about the Sony projectors. So the Sony Projector 7, which, as we know, good with prices. So the XW5100 is...
Are you going back to our Kaleidoscope?
I'm going back to the Kaleidoscope days, which come in just shy of £7,000, but is 2,200 lumens, which is a little bit brighter than the previous model, which we've actually got in our demo facility. So we're still more than happy with that. One thing they have got about that is a manual lens shift. But if you wanted a 2:3:5 to ratio screen, you couldn't really have it because if you were going 16:9. Yeah. But what you have now is a 2:3:5 to 1 ratio button. So you could have that screen, press it, and it goes to that 2:3:5, okay. And then you've got 16:9, press the button again, goes to your 16:9
so it's got manual shift, but it's got preset memory.
So that's actually quite handy because I think it restricted a lot of people from getting that projector, especially that price point. 7,000 for that is a really good price point, but you couldn't have the correct film ratio because it was manual lens shift. So if you wanted to watch something 16:9, you were going to struggle. But they have got the new projectors as well. So you've got the 8 and 9s, the Sony Projector 8 and 9s, which something that I found was fascinating. It's got tone mapping.
Okay.
Which obviously can do the light source. So if it's a darker scene, it will reduce that brightness, and obviously a really bright scene, it'll increase that brightness. So with tone mapping, and then you've got the prices for a Sony Projector 8 is about 16,000, and the 9 is about 26. But again, they're a lot brighter than they were as well, so that always helps. But yeah, and I was really impressed, and I think Sony have done a few tours to show people what they're capable of. So yeah, expect to see those soon.
Annoyingly, I wasn't aware of the webinar until you told me that you were sitting on it. And then I was due to go to our friends at AWE this week, but I had to bow out because I just had so much work to do. And I know that the guys at AWE will welcome me anytime, or welcome anybody anytime. So, but I know Simon, our Simon now, as we jointly share him, our Simon went, and he is seriously contemplating taking his 5,000 and replacing it with the 5100. 5100, yeah, nice. I think he's just as James Drummy said, was like, if you can sell that one off for the price you paid for it on a demo rate, then it would be worth, because Sony are doing some good demo rates and some good deals for clients wanting to swap out.
Yeah, I think they've had to do that because obviously they stopped distributing them in Europe for not long, but long enough to people to start selling other projector manufacturers. So I think they've had to do that, to be fair. But they always do good deals anyway. So yeah, get those orders in, and get those demos going. But yeah, any end user wants to see them, then contact the HCA members and go and have a look.
Awesome. So my first story is the Sony KEF XIO soundbar.
Wow.
So
Is that a new thing for KEF? Or?
Yeah, so I didn't really realise it was coming. I've dealt with KEF for years. I've known Ron, who works with KEF for years, and it sort of like just appeared out of nowhere. I know that at the moment one of our distributors has stopped dealing with them. No reason, just stopped dealing with them, and they've gone back in-house. And I know I've not really spoken to Ron because he's had a knee operation. Hope you feel better soon, Ron. I think you are a few weeks into it now, so hopefully you'll be ready for the Together for Cinema bike ride in a few weeks, month, maybe. Something like that.
Not long.
Not long. But yeah, so they've got a, so it's released, well, it's out now. It came out on the 18th. It's priced at a pound shy of £2,000.
Wow.
But you also could get an optional KW2 wireless subwoofer receiver with it. Now, I know that they have, the subwoofer receiver is something they've done before. Because I remember using it in some KEF systems, some KH 3005 systems that I did years ago, where we used them as a wireless receiver between the front and back.
So is that an Atmos speaker, or what is it? Can you change the size of it? Is it one particular size? One size fits all?
It's one size fits all. It basically can hang on the wall, go below the TV. The picture I'm taking off of our friends at Inside CI's website at the moment is it sitting on a tabletop, and then basically connects to the TV. It's got an app that works with it. I believe it probably works on eARC as well. So a simple plug and play.
Because £2,000's not cheap, but
no.
Hopefully it would do. Obviously, it sounds pretty good. It's KEF, so I'm sure that sounds.
And I'll read the extract from here. It's the KEF XIO introduces a comprehensive suite of technologies, including a unique Q MX driver arrays. It's the results in an immersive 5.1.2 channel experience. It's got 12 Class D amplifiers and supports DTS:X, Dolby 360, DTS:X, Sony 360 reality audio. It doesn't say, oh no, it does say, yeah, sorry, Dolby Atmos as well. Works as HDMI, eARC as well. I mean, I've heard advanced EQ measures, night mode, classic mode, music mode. It's got the app, it's wall mounted. I've seen a few early reviews on it, and I've got to say, what I'm hearing from people that I respect is that actually it's bloody good little soundbar. Now again, we'll go back to some of the conversations we've had in our podcast, and we've still got to go in our podcast. Which is, I think these are brilliant for rooms where you don't want true immersive audio.
No, it's a great solution, as we said in the previous podcast, but KEF wouldn't be bringing that kind of thing out after all these years of doing excellent speakers and sat subs and things like that. They wouldn't bring this out if they didn't think it was necessary, and they can improve upon what's out there. So no, exciting times.
I'd be interested to hear it from a music point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Ron, if you want to send me one, I will happily put it on the wall in the lounge or the bedroom, and I'll give it a whirl for you, and I'll give you the HCA seal of approval on it. You know where to send it, and you have my mobile number. Or I could just go to Great Portland Street to the KEF Gallery and look at it.
That'd probably be easy. I think Ron's got other things to do on his mind.
I need to worry about at the moment.
Yeah.
Can you deliver it to me? Because you're only about like 35 minutes from my house. So that's quite interesting. You've got a story about Samsung Frame, which I also noticed having a Google yesterday, that Samsung have partnered up with DC, so you can now have Superman.
You could have Superman
images on your Frame TV.
Which, so we've done something slightly different again for this barn conversion that we're doing. The client has got like a wood burner to one side and wants like a discrete frame TV. So it turns out there's quite a few frame TVs that Samsung have done, and obviously you need an umbilical cord that connects to the box. But their new one, which again I want to get the model number correct, but it's a Samsung Frame Pro Neo QLED 4K Vision AI Smart TV 2025, because there's a 2024 version and 2023 version, but this new one has a wireless box, so you don't need the umbilical cord to try and connect to this box.
Oh, what? So the fibre optic cable?
Yes, which is not the easiest thing to connect. So this the barn conversion that we've done, We did say to have all the sockets recessed, so you can just put the TV on there, but the sockets were surface mounted, which have thankfully now been recessed, but there's no room for the box. So we're going to go in a little cupboard behind where the TV is, which does work wirelessly as well. So has all your inputs on. So you plug in anything, so your Sky would go into that, your Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, games consoles would plug into that, and I'm assured that it will wirelessly transmit to the frame TV not only the artwork that you can have, but the new QLED technology they've got on there is a lot brighter, and the picture quality is a lot better than it was on their previous versions, but it will transmit at 4K at 120 frames per second. So we shall see if that's the case.
Actually, touch on that for a second. Just going back to the Sony Projector, I did notice that was 4K 120 as well.
4K 120, so yeah, the Sony Projector is HDMI 2.1, and the refresh rate on that for gaming is pretty good. I want to say 9 milliseconds.
Okay,
but,
that's good for a projector.
Which for a projector is
I think
phenomenal.
the one I had in my showroom years ago was about 20 milliseconds, which was like shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting, because I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Samsung frame TVs. I know Simon's got one in his house, not this Simon, the other Simon, who we keep on mentioning, and he loves it. I've got a Gen 2 maybe in my bedroom, and I've nearly thrown it out the window a few times.
Yeah, so I did say he's got one of the older versions, and he does like it. But what I do like about it is it senses when somebody comes into the room. So then the artwork then comes on. You can change the bezels, so the bezels could be changed to different wood finishes or white or black and things like that. But the artwork, you can do a subscription service with them. Obviously, you can do it via your phone, and then you've got the smart home app side of things that you can do stuff with it. So yeah, we're installing that this week. So.
Are you putting a control system in there, or
no control system?
I'd be interested to see how it talks on a control, because that's one of my big problems. Was like watch Sky Q on the Samsung TV, and then the Samsung TV would come on okay, but then it would be talking to the Sky box, and it does it with the Apple TV, so it's not a Sky issue. And then the handshake would take ages, to the point that you would have to then turn it off and turn it back on again, and then it eventually would come on.
I think the guys from Envision are working quite closely with Samsung, and I think they have talked about the CI side of things and getting that working with a lot of the control systems. So I believe that's a lot better than it previously was. So.
I hope so, because to be honest, it was one of those things which I would just flat out refuse to supply Samsung TVs.
Yeah.
And if it was a picture frame TV they wanted, I'd do an LG Gallery.
No, we might have been a bit more wary if it had a control system with it. So thankfully it's on its own, it's going to be wireless, it's going to have internet connected to it, and that's about it. So hopefully that goes well.
Oh, well, I'll have to get him to send me one of those as well.
Yep, definitely.
Well, actually, in fairness, the little studio that I'm still trying to build at my office, I do want to put a test bench in there to do unboxings and reviews, because I think there's lots of people out there who do unboxings and reviews, but I think that to do them from our perspective obviously they used to do quite a few in here, posted, unboxings and that, and I think we do tend to look at things slightly differently than maybe some reviewers, because again, we're coming from people who actually install it, not just review it and know about it. No disrespect. I mean, Phil and the guys at AV Forums do a fantastic job, and a lot of them are installers or ex-installers, but it is something that I'd like to get involved in, so I could just sit down with a Control 4 system, for example, see if it's working or not.
So we may actually do one of those videos, because installing it looks fairly tricky, let's say that, because obviously it is flush to the walls. It comes with its own bracket, which seems to be in two parts, and then if you imagine hooks on a picture frame, there's another little square that then goes in the back of the telly, then that hooks on to the two separate brackets. So I think you've got to be pretty precise. So I did do a bit of a Google search just to be certain in my mind how it should be done. I can only ever find one. So,
if you need a media company to record it for you, you know where I am.
HCA Media will be on board.
I seem to live in Essex.
Well, if you're free Wednesday, come on over.
Unfortunately, I'm not. I'll be on the cinema.
I'll film it for you.
Get Simon to film it. So the last story was actually one just touching on. So every year the CEDIA do a market analysis of the professional smart home industry. So more smart home rather than home cinema. And I just thought it was quite good in respects of the the UK smart home market is now valued at an estimated 3.1 billion.
Wow.
So that's just the UK, which is a 7% increase over 2023. And they project more growth in the next 12 months. This actually talks to people like you and me feel this out. So they spoke to approximately 3,700 integrators, which showed that most medium integration company had a turnover and were involved in projects of totaling around about 300,000 a year, with a typical medium-sized project being around about £20,000. And most of them completed about 13 projects a year, which I thought was quite interesting because I know I've gone and you do more cinema than a little bit of smart home, as well as some of the other HCA members. But I think in a world of your Amazon A's and your Apple S's and your Google G, whatever they're calling it now, I think it's good that actually there is still some vibrancy in the smart home market, because I think that from what I see at the shows, sometimes okay, so what's the benefit of a Control 4 system and a Control 4 lighting system over an Amazon A with some Philips Hue?
Yeah, no, it's good to see, and obviously that is doing it properly, but you can understand from a cost perspective why people aren't doing that. But if you're doing a nice media cinema room that is costing about £20,000, I think you should have some kind of control system within that. So to hear those figures is quite nice. Obviously, especially the climate at the moment in the world, who knows what's going to happen next week. But it's up on last year or 2023. Then that's fantastic.
It is good, and I mean it shows that there is still growth in the industry. And I know from the cinema side of it, obviously we see it with our 20 odd HCA members, but I think people's understanding of what a cinema room is now and the enjoyment they can get from a cinema room. So it's good to see that people are still seeing the benefit to a well-designed smart home, rather than a pile of products that can just link together but not necessarily give you that fluidity. That's a big word for me this morning.
It is, but having that is paramount, I think, in any system like that. So and ease of control, ease of use as well for the end user. You don't want granny coming over and not being able to turn things on, and obviously reliability is paramount, really. So
I think that's what the biggest thing is. It's like, do I have to download an app?
Yes.
That seems to be something that a lot of people are not liking. Do I have to flip between apps? But then on the flip side, in our industry, if you're doing lighting, engrave it, or write on it, or stick a sticky note next to it for the minute whilst it's going in, or consistency, because that is the biggest thing I get with a lot of the lighting systems is that I don't know what button's what because it's not been engraved.
No, I have to guess.
And then they come in and press 17 buttons to try and find out which one's the light on.
And then the projector screen drops down and you realise you pressed the wrong button.
You're talking about us in here this morning.
We are, yes.
Can we get the lights any brighter?
In the Pulse training showroom. Yeah. But,
which is, I will briefly, if the lighting is a little bit weird in here, it's because we are having to use two portable lights of ours, because the lighting in here is in between changes.
Yes, it's just been done up. So,
the place is being done up, just been moved around and bits and pieces, which again, if you watch the sit down I do with Capes, which will be after this one, you'll hear about the changes that have happened and are happening here. So talking about cinema rooms, because we are the Home Cinema Alliance.
We are indeed,
with
yes.
Lots of fantastic, lovely members. So I wanted to touch on this month, or our topic of the month, a home cinema and why it can be the favourite room in the house, but not just from a technological point of view. So yes, it will be a cinema and it will be a place that you can create memories, sitting with your family, watching content. As I think I've alluded to before, we did a lot of that with my family through COVID. When we couldn't go anywhere, we went out the office and watched films together. But I think that, you know, we actually have these great rooms which are well designed and could be usable spaces for other things than cinema. So what's your view with, like, if you have a customer come to you and say, you know, like, I want a home cinema, and let's say it's the husband led, and then the wife's like, oh, you know, home cinema and all this lot. When you have a conversation with the wife or maybe even the husband about it's not just for watching movies, what do you usually sort of say to them about the room and the space that you're designing for them?
So as we've said in the previous podcast, you can have it your way nowadays. That's, I think, the fundamental point here, because what we generally do is have a discussion with the clients, so understand their needs and requirements a little bit. How many members are the family? Are there more family members like to come over? More friends likely to come over? And then you can understand and establish exactly what's going to go into that room. So whether they're going to watch movies, sport, Netflix, Amazon, gaming, music, listening just to music. Atmos music nowadays is superb. It really is. I think actually Atmos was made for music, to be fair. So which I don't know, can't believe it's taken so long to come out. So I think having that dedicated go-to room is fantastic for the whole family. You haven't got to queue up at the cinema and popcorn and everything like that. I say we did the Sphere in the Vegas, and that was something completely different. Here nowadays in the cinemas, they're pretty mundane. I know they're trying to do sort of like 4D or whatever it's called, trying to get you to get into that.
To get more money out of you, basically.
Get more money out of you.
If you have the 3D option or the 2D option.
That's £15 for this and £6 for popcorn you want to drink, so £30-40 later. So you haven't got that. You've got a nice room where everybody can come to. As we said previously, the phones get put down, you can watch some films together as a family, you can watch it as a couple, like in the evening and that kind of stuff. So having a dedicated room, whether it's a media room or cinema room, that is now multi-purpose to have it your way is worth its weight in gold, I think, especially in this day and age.
Well, I think if I look at, like, I suppose if I have again, not tried to be sexist in any way, but if I have a client who comes to me, I mean, actually it's where the original company name, Just Add Popcorn, came from, which was like, the husband wanted a cinema and the wife was like, what have I got to do? Because I'm the one who's here dealing with you, dealing with the disruption, dealing with the work. And I turn around to the client and I'm like, look, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a conversation with you about the room, about what you like to watch, about who's going to be here, how many people are going to be sitting down, and then we're going to design something, and then we're going to come up with some ideas, and then we're going to choose some fabrics, some carpets, some furnishings, and finishes, because it's going to be a designed room from a technological point of view for the best sonic value, but also from, I want you to sit in this room and enjoy it. And I said, so fundamentally, once this is designed, and you've paid me a little bit of money, or a lot of money, depending on the budget, I'm going to build it for you. Me and my team, you know, are going to build it for you. And then all you've got to do at the end of it is just come in, we'll show you how it works. And you and your family have just got to add the popcorn. And that's where the original name came from.
Fantastic name, always liked it.
Yeah, and I think it's just, and I think I said before, it's a great name when you knew what it did.
Yes.
But I remember sitting down with, it was back when Tom Butler worked with Paul at Acoustics, and they were like, you got to have a name that does what it says on the tin. And then for all the years, that always played on my mind. And that's why, as we alluded on one of the podcasts we did where you stole the cinema room's name, was where I had to put immersive in front of it. Immersive. Because I think that if someone's driving past the project or your van and you've got a site sign up, and I think it's got to do what it says on the tin. And I think that the days of the quirky, like, you know, I don't even know if they, you know, elephant insurance, if they still exist. You know, I remember one point I was driving past a pub called Squirrel, and I'm like, oh, Squirrel AV, that could be quite cool. But again, it just didn't tell you what it did.
It was like Orange Mobile. I always loved the name Orange, because it was synonymous with mobiles. Yeah. But you say to the kids nowadays, Orange, like, what do you mean orange? I don't like oranges. No, orange, there's mobile. No, just don't get it. So, but back, I thought it was a really great name.
Well, it's a bit like going off a complete tangent, which I did a lot with Stuart at Lillis the other week. Like, my number plate on my car, the last 3 digits is THX. And my daughter's friends come over to my house, and if my car's parked in front, they go, "Why has your dad got thanks on his number plate?" It's like, okay, bring your friend in here. I've got to explain to them George Lucas and what THX is and why it was created. Because again, you know, they don't know. But going back to the subject, I mean, for me, when I have clients like that lady in question, yes, we're creating a cinema for you, but we're also creating a tranquil room. We're creating a room that, you know, like here next door, you've got a deco screen, which is actually a screen where a piece of artwork comes down in front of the screen. So when you walk in to the cinema, you're not got a big piece of white fabric. You've got an image, a family image, or an image of a tiger or a holiday. It could be whatever you want. But what you've also got in these rooms is you've also got nice fabric walls. You've potentially got a fabric ceiling or a starlight ceiling. You've got nice fluffy carpets and big cinema seats. So because they've been created to keep audio in, they also keep audio out. So we actually find with a lot of our clients that they like the spaces we create because it's another room. It's a room on a Sunday morning. You can sit with a cup of coffee and read a newspaper, or a newspaper on your iPad if you don't have physical media anymore.
It's also escape from reality, I think,
Yeah.
as well. So any room that we design using the technology, it is escape from reality, but it also, as soon as you go in there, you feel a bit more relaxed. So when Pulse first did their showroom here, they designed it all. They'd really thought about how it would come across. I think they actually got an interior designer to come in, but even had the smells in there as well. So, you know, when you sort of sell a house and you got the coffee brewing and somebody said, have the bread maker going as well, Pulse has decided to have that really nice sort of smell, not like a popcorn smell, but like a nice relaxing kind of smell that automatically, as soon as you go in, you feel relaxed, you're going to sit down. And so we are lucky because we've got these showrooms where we can bring the clients. But with the bigger rooms, what we find is clients have difficulty visualizing what that would look like in their own home. And I know you can do the 3D drawings and everything like that to say this is what it would look like. But the room upstairs, it's one of my favorite rooms because it is designed with sort of the customer in mind, because you can sit there, you can visualize that in your house. You can visualize, say, the deco artwork, you can visualize the lamps, the coffee table, the normal sofas within that period, in that setting. So I think from a client's perspective, being able to visualize what they can have in their home when they see it as well, I think really helps.
Well, and that's it. I mean, I know we've touched on it before, like International Home Cinema Day. You know, okay, this year I'm probably not going to get it to where I want it to be. And I had always thought about it being 2026 as the real launch. But, you know, I want to get places like this open to Joe Public across the world. You know, so if you live in Ohio, you can look on the International Home Cinema Day website, you can find a local place, you can go along and experience one of these places.
Do a virtual tour, be really good, and people then can understand what we're trying to achieve for them. So
yeah, and I think more importantly, I think also it's like what a great space this can be. You know, not just like a room that you watch a film in, but I think one thing that I've tried to educate a lot of my clients is that yes, even if it is a husband or wife-led project, and even if you are creating it as a family space to watch movies, you know, it could be so much more. Hell, I mean, Nicola, one of my clients up in Bedford, because it's got that lovely space at the front of it where you generally don't have the seats because of the throw ratio or the distance from the screen, she does a yoga in there. And there's a constant joke that we have with each other about your yoga balls in here. Have you been using this for yoga again? But it's such a great space.
Definitely a multi-purpose room. But
Yeah.
So I think I might have mentioned this before, but when we first started out in 2009, we did a really nice system for a client. He's like, Simon, it's the best room in the house. Like, it's fantastic. If I could sleep in here, I would.
Yeah.
But he used it for the films, but also a lot of gaming. So his son was doing a lot of gaming. Son would then go to bed, and the dad then will go on and start gaming. And the lamp, which I think was on a JVC, which was designed to last about 2,000 to 3,000 hours, lasted a year. Because he did so much gaming. We worked out it was pretty much 8 hours a day that he was gaming for.
But I mean, I've got clients that I know they don't use their room every day, and I've got clients that use it every day. And I, for me, like when I hear a client's been in there every day, watching everything from Saturday morning kitchen to the football to a film, or staying up early hours of the morning and watching the boxing or something like that.
Yeah.
It just, I think, brilliant. We've created this great space. And actually, when I hear, also when I hear that a person uses it to go in there and listen to the Calm app and meditate, maybe because I've turned 50 this year like you, but I've got a lot more into trying to get into meditation and just trying to get a little bit of the craziness out of my head in running 3 companies.
Well,
and these spaces are really quiet to do that.
Yeah, and I think just touching on what you just said there, it's that the rooms that we've done previously, it was that special room. So you would go in there and watch the big sporting event, like the boxing that was happening the other day, or the movie that you wanted to watch. So you weren't really going in there, you were going there for like a special occasion, which is fine, but now they're multi-purpose. I think people are using those rooms a lot more. So we've got a client with one of the original Epson laser projectors, which is, I think it's like a 24-foot high ceiling. So we've had to angle the
24 foot, jeez.
It is really high. The Epson projector down because it didn't have the keystoning, so issues that you would have with normal lamp-based projectors back then. And so I've been trying to sell him the new Epson laser projector, which was a lot brighter as well. But he's only done 3,000 hours. And he must have had that a good 7-8 years.
Wow.
At least. So again, they only use it for special occasions of watching the rugby or whatever. So the kitchen used to be the sort of the hub of the home, but I think now a multi-purpose cinema media room is, I can't remember who uses the tagline, but your new favourite room, or
that's me.
That's you. So
that's
there
me.
we go.
Yeah, that's what we say. We are creating your new favourite room, and I think that's a great way to sum it up. Is that I think that until you've witnessed these rooms and you've been in a private cinema or a cinema created for an individual family, and if you haven't, reach out to our HCA member. As I say, we have facilities to our own places and all of the places around the country, let alone our own places. I think it is something to sort of like sit in and appreciate these spaces. They're there for big screen movies. They're there for Netflix, and they're there for YouTube, and they're there for sports. But they're also just nice, tranquil places that you could just sit and spend time with your family and have a conversation about, again, making us sound like we're old. But I remember going to, watch films with, my friends. I even remember going to watch Natural Born Killers with an ex-girlfriend.
You're old romantic, you, Stuart.
I know, as the ex-girlfriend. But that film was one of my favourite films ever because it was so decisive.
But back then you couldn't really book. You sort of turned up like an hour or 2 hours before and said, can I have 2 seats, please?
Also, you didn't know nothing about the movie.
No, so I did that with Silence of the Lambs. I think I was 17, and me and my friend sort of got on the bus and went to the local cinema, and I was slightly taller and looked slightly older, and I was like, 2 tickets for Silence of the Lambs, please.
2 tickets for Silence of the Lambs.
And got in, and one of the best films I've ever seen in my life.
But what you did on the bus on the way home, you had a conversation about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you come out talking about it, and
and I think where now, it's like, okay, you can still do that, but I think with the cinema room, and and I've talked about this on one of the projects we did in London, was that to go downstairs and leave the mobile phones and actually creating these spaces that you could spend time with your family. Yeah, you could sit on your own and watch the boxing if that's what you want to do, or sit there with mates. But by creating these spaces where people talk, and also creating these spaces where you don't have to have the screen on. You can listen to music. You can you can do the Calm app. You can do some yoga. Hell, you could just sit there and read a book and have an espresso, because they are just calm, tranquil spaces away from everyday's bedlam.
Yeah, and it's what you get out of film. So, like, fun fact, this day 11 years ago, the original Guardians of the Galaxy was released. So
really?
James Gunn, 11 years ago that was.
So the James Gunn's, oh blimey.
So that's a fun fact of
21st
of
July.
July.
Than 50 now.
Yeah, 11 years ago. But he's just obviously done Superman.
Yeah.
So what he wanted to do with that is bring that feel-good factor back of what Superman represents.
Yeah.
So the previous films were obviously destruction and death and God knows what else. But I think the new Superman sort of makes you feel good about life and stuff that's happening, and obviously the conflict. So I think there's a scene in there about Superman stops a war. So it's quite close to what's happening in real life, but he's trying to stop a war. All the countries are made up names, obviously not to point any fingers. So, but then it's like, well, should he have done that? Did he do the right thing? Did he not do the right thing? And so it's that moral dilemma of what a superhero could do. But that's just come out on Kaleidoscope as well.
I say I've literally just literally pre-ordered it on Kaleidoscope.
Yes, so that'll be fun. So I think
Superman,
some good,
James Gunn. Yeah, you got me.
So some good demo scenes, and the new Jurassic Park film, which I think originates back to sort of the original Jurassic Park.
That might be an Apple TV one for me,
about 30 years ago. But yeah, it's that fun room to go to. You can watch the films, watch your TV programs, escape from reality, and I think that's what a dedicated room is all about. But say you have it your way, you don't, and they don't cost a fortune nowadays. You can have, as we said previously, the KEF soundbar on a nice decent TV with a wireless sub, or you can have a little sat sub system, or you can have a dedicated Dolby Atmos system in your media room or cinema room.
Somewhere to enjoy your content.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, one of the ideas that we had before we really started the podcast was to do an Ask AI section. So we did, and unfortunately we sort of like forgot to do it with our why a cinema doesn't come in a box one. Although I did look at it, and actually in fairness, ChatGPT did get it pretty right, but it did refer to a dedicated cinema or dedicated cinema room or theatre with a soundbar, which is like, for me, is a highness mistake. So actually what I did was I asked ChatGPT.
Oh, exciting.
So I thought, right, I went into ChatGPT, and we will use Gemini and all that lot just to spread the love around the AI world, as AI is a buzzword at the moment. I basically just put into ChatGPT, why is a home cinema the favourite room in the house, or why could it be the favourite room in the house? I actually got it pretty right. So it goes, in today's fast-paced world, there's nothing quite like escaping into your own private cinema. No queues, no noisy crowds, no overpriced snacks. Just you, your family, your film, in a space designed entirely for you and your viewing experience. There's no surprises. It's no surprise that home cinemas are quickly becoming the new favourite in the house, which I thought was quite good.
True.
And then it went on to just, I'm falling in love with ChatGPT at the moment, but anyway, we're getting
It's a bit addictive.
Yeah, but it's like your rules, your schedule. Pause it when you want, get a glass of wine when you want, watch what you want. Tailored comfort. So you have recliners, your lighting, your acoustic panels, even your popcorn machine or a fridge in the back. Okay, fridge in the back I do agree with, as long as there's somewhere turning it off when the film's on, so it doesn't affect the noise floor.
It's a bit noisy.
Tech that wows, that goes on to a little bit of 4K projectors, Dolby Atmos, but again, it doesn't mention sound bars, so it's doing well in my opinion. And then it's got perfect for family and friends, which, for me is creating fun family spaces. That is, for me, that is the key thing for my business. Creating your new favourite room, creating fun family spaces is something that I think all of us as HCA members get a buzz out. Movie nights become a shared experience again, whether it's a Marvel marathon, rom-com night, or weekend of gaming on the big screen. A home cinema brings people together like no other room.
Yeah, 100%. You said earlier about it's the summer holidays. So the kids have sort of invited their friends round to watch to go down the end and watch the cinema and things. It's like, what are you going to watch? Oh, I don't know. So I keep trying to get them to watch the Goonies, but I did watch it last night, but it's a 12, and some of it is a bit bit dodgy. So even for Steven Spielberg, it's a bit risque, some of it. But
my friend at the moment is just
until the sequel comes out.
Is there a sequel coming out?
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. Goonies 2.
And that's a very short period, though, isn't it? 50 years.
Yeah, I think it's 37 years or something crazy.
A friend of mine, Johnny, he's doing his first ever feature film at the moment. He's been doing it for the last few years. It's actually been brilliant insight into how long it takes to produce a film. But my daughter had a very small part in it because we helped back it. But he's doing a cross between the Goonies come E.T., and it's called Stargazers. You can see I think it's on United Magic. United Magic Studios is his YouTube channel, and he's got the trailer up. But that is very, you know, Goonies cross E.T., a bit Stranger Things type vibe of that sort
Is this
of
with AI or just standard?
No. It's all properly
Oh, right,
filmed.
wow.
Oh yeah, no, they're using, you know, proper full-on red cameras. They're using, you know, we spent a day out in West Sussex when Molly was going to shoot her piece. And yeah, I've been watching him do it, and actually it's been really interesting doing it, where they're just doing it and they're getting people involved in it. And obviously Johnny also is not doing it this year because he wanted to concentrate on the film. But it was the Apex Film Awards that the HEA sponsored last year. Because I like the synergy between the fact that they make the movies that we show in the rooms. So that's definitely one I'm looking forward to. But no, Goonies 2, interesting.
Goonies 2, yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, I suppose the last real point on this ChatGPT thing was actually adds value. You know, a cinema room will add value to your house. We did a project a few years ago in Tunbridge Wells. It was a disused room that really had anything in it. It'd been an office, it'd been everything, a bedroom. We created it into a cinema room. So, you know, yes, you might not get your money back in the same way as if you had the optional extra panoramic roof to your car, you might not get that money back. But, you know, if a client walks into a room and it's a box room, you ain't going to get any value out of that. No. But if a client walks into the box room and it's a reasonable home cinema, and I've even done a couple of projects for developers where we've put in a decent system that we can then upgrade when they've sold the house, because when they walk in there and see a designed cinema room that might at the moment be a 1.2, but we've run the structured cabling for a 9.4.6, the clients get that wow factor.
Just about to say the same thing. Yeah, it is that wow factor. It's a new swimming pool in that room. So we had a client who already had a cinema room, but he did have a pool which cost him £30,000 a year. So he boarded that over and put a gym in there. It was much more cost effective. So actually, at least with a cinema room, the running costs aren't that high.
Actually, so same with Owen. Owen did the one that we did the photography videography for down in Weymouth, and did the fabrics there for him as well, helped him. That was the same. I think that originally Steve had that or it was originally before Steve bought the house, I think, was a swimming pool. Yeah. And they backfilled the swimming pool, and now it's a beautiful bar area which goes into a stunning 8-seater cinema that Owen's done. Actually, he's up for a CEDIA award this year with it, so hopefully he gets shortlisted and wins, because he deserves it. It's a phenomenal room. But again, Steve uses it a lot for F1 and things like that. So
we were saying like about the rooms, have it your way. I think that any size house, you're going to get that wow factor of that room because it's different. So you go into a room that's got like a big TV screen and then you've got speakers throughout. Anybody's going to go in there as a 3-4 bedroom house. You go, wow, it's fantastic. You can go to a slightly bigger house and they've got a much bigger dedicated cinema rooms. You can go, wow, that's fantastic. So I think it works on all fronts personally.
Well, and I think actually, you know, you're local, so a shout out for Simon and cinemarooms.co.uk is that a place like this where you have a £1 million cinema next door potentially, then you've got the smaller room at the front, which is now Crick's in it, I think, and then you've got the media room upstairs.
Yeah, it ticks all the boxes, the Pulse showroom. So yeah, anybody wants to come down, contact.
Give you a shout.
Give us a shout, and yeah, we can bring you down.
Definitely worth, if you're in the Essex area, reach out to Simon and come and have a look, because this is a great example of 3 different rooms in one building.
Yep, contact us on our website, which is actually a new website, which we'll be launching very soon.
Yep.
So cinema-rooms.co.uk or cinemarooms.com. We'll take you there and contact page, and yeah, we've got the various options of an acoustic showroom, the Pulse showroom, or Redline showroom for more sort of media-based systems. So either of those, we can. Any member could take you to these showrooms, or we come see us at Cinema Rooms.
And I'll end on this one line I've just seen at the bottom of my iPad, which is, your home cinema is more than just a space. It's the heart of the home and a place for your family to enjoy.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
On that note,
thank you, Simon.
Thanks,
we'll see you in whatever after the summer holidays.
I'm off on holiday. See you later.
I've got lots of podcasts to do with Trinov, and we've got a good one coming with Sonus as well, which would be quite interesting. I can say Sonus a few times. I think it's probably good for algorithms. Sonus.
Different.
So enjoy your school holidays.
Thank you so
with
much,
your
you
kids,
too.
and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, bye.